Hey, Digitrailz here, and with the Caves and Cliffs update coming up, I figure being able to navigate caves will be very useful. And with some tips and tricks that I often use, and some that I know that would come in handy, you will be able to successfully navigate the caves that are coming up. Because the more and more you navigate a cave system without doing something like strip mining, and even with this method, you should be able to successfully navigate your strip mines, the easier you will be able to not get lost down in your cave system. And the first method that I want to show you is actually in my hand. It's a torch. Now, basically the first trick is place torches to one side and on the wall. Don't place them down in the middle because in the middle, nothing there is useful. But if you place it to one side, I generally do the left, as you navigate around, you can basically use it as on the left means you're going out of the cave or going into the cave, and then the right means you're going out of the cave. So as you're exploring, you can basically just place it like this and just continue along. And as you go down paths, make sure you kind of stick to that transition and you kind of go down and you just kind of continue to explore. And let's see, we can, okay, so now I need to go back. And now I know, okay, so this is where I was. Now let's see, we can go down this way. Let's continue on down this way. There's some zombies. And we can just continue on. And now I can easily navigate my way back if I got lost by easily going, okay, this is, once they start going to the left, that means, okay, that means I was going out this way. I can turn back. And here we go. I use this method all the time whenever I'm caving in Minecraft, and I have for many years. So this is a method that I generally recommend when you're caving in almost any circumstance. And yes, when you get to a bigger open area, you may have to put a few in the center. But then once you get back to a smaller section, do something like this, or find a way of making some sort of marker for yourself so that you can find your way back to these paths. But on to the next tip. The next tip is to have a central location for navigating. Generally having something that's sort of like an outpost. So having some stuff like a chest, a furnace, and maybe a crafting table next to where you're heading up to your base. This type of stuff is good so that as you're walking around, when you're trying to find home, a staircase is easy to miss. But having stuff that isn't naturally spawning down in the caves makes it easier for you to find your staircase. And that way also, you can use this as sort of a central location. So you can go further into the mines and be able to, once you get your stuff, you can come back and put stuff in your chest, or you can get stuff smelting, and you can just, as that stuff's processing, you can go back out and get what you need. And you can continue out and go in different directions, and you sort of know that way different ways of going. Signs will be useful whenever you're mining, especially if it's particularly a large mine that you're spending plenty of time in. You can tell yourself that you've already mined out this area, or the area over here is already mined, or if you want to start pointing yourself in the right direction of a spider spawner that is going this way, and if it's a winding direction, or if there is already any particular danger in an area. Signs can be useful to help get you around, and also they give you information because you could just basically write something on them. Basically just put down home. And that will allow you to kind of give yourself information, because sometimes if you forget and you've been playing on a world for a while, or if you don't have a lot of time to play and you may go away from a world for a while and come back after a week or so, you can kind of remember. So signs help you navigate when you forget. The fourth one, while not necessarily always that great, is having a map. You generally want to have this up in your home base, but if you have a map on you, especially if you're someone who gets easily lost, it would help orient you back to your base. If you put one of these down in your mind where you want it to be and you're out and about, it'd be easier for you to navigate back. So if you go out and you continue to go down, and if you start getting wound and about, you can easily just, okay, I need to go back this way. And you would even dig back that way if you had to. It's easier to reorient yourself back towards your base. And at the end of the day, being able to reorient yourself when you're in the caves is going to help you bring back your diamonds or bring back your redstone and not get blown up by a creeper. So having a map down there may help you end up reorienting yourself instead of having to guess. And yeah, you could just bring up the F3 screen to bring up your coordinates, but if you don't know which way your base was to begin with, how are you going to do that? And finally, if you're particularly rich and you have a decent amount of resources in your end game, and if you're end game, and I'm not sure why you're getting lost in caves, but in the new caves, especially in the Caves and Cliffs update one, this may end up happening, and you want to know how to get out, but you could always just, there's other solutions, but what you could do is put down a lodestone, grab a compass, especially if you're end game, or if you found enough netherite, put down a lodestone, mark it with a compass, and just go mine. Afterwards, it's going to point you back to where you were, and you can always dig through a couple walls, or you'll know where you were, especially if you weren't being very diligent about your torches, and you can just find your way back. You can always mine through some walls if you had to, but it will always point you back to where you started. That way, you're going to be good to go. And one last bonus one is, honestly, you could just dig out. If you have enough pick durability, or if you are able to craft a pick, you could basically just dig your way out. It's low tech. You don't need a lodestone, you don't need a map, you don't need pretty much anything. You could just dig out, and I mean, that's been the solution since alpha. That's what I've been doing. If I ran out of torches or I found myself too deep in. But if you found these tips helpful, or you liked what you saw, think about giving me a like. And if you want to see more, or if you liked what you saw, think about giving me a subscribe as well. Thank you for watching. Remember, when in the digital trails, watch out for digital bears. Catch you later.